Okay.
Come on. Give me 1 second. Okay, we are live.
All right. The court calls case number 623-978, State of Texas versus Matthew Little. Mr. Little, will you raise your right hand? You solemnly swear that in this proceeding, the information and responses you submit will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, I do.
Thank you. You may put your hand down. Mr. Little, you were originally charged with driving while intoxicated with blood alcohol content of 0.15 or higher. That's commonly called extreme intoxication. It is my understanding that you have entered into a plea agreement with the state of Texas. But before we do that, I want to talk to you about your constitutional rights and protections. Number one, you have the right to remain silent. That means you do not have to make a statement of any kind. You don't have to answer questions. You do not have to submit written paperwork that has your signature, especially papers that have admission or confession to wrongdoing. You also have the right to a jury trial. That means that you and your attorney, working with the state, could select 6 citizens, from a pool of disinterested citizens who would hear any and all evidence, testimony, materials, whatever. And those 6 people would decide whether you have been found not guilty or whether you've been proven guilty beyond reasonable doubt. That's the right to a jury trial. If you go to trial, you have a right to confront witnesses. That means anyone who testifies will be subject to you and your attorney questioning, cross-examining, or challenging any witness. You also have what's called the right of appeal. That is a right wherein you yourself or your attorney by herself or the two of you together could demand that a higher court review the evidence and the official record in this case for whatever legal challenge you wanted to make. I just want to caution you that an appeal is difficult to do because an appeal has time limitations. You have to submit the appropriate paperwork and information. Nonetheless, it is an important right, and I need you to be aware of it. Also, you and the state have the right to demand that this proceeding be held in the open public courtroom. Because of the COVID pandemic, we're not doing that. Instead, we're handling this hearing live streamed on YouTube, but nonetheless, it is by video conference. In order to do that, you had to sign a consent form, and the state does too, by the way, because they have the same right. You had to sign a consent form consenting to conduct this by video conference. Did you in fact review, understand, and sign the document wherein you consent to the video conferencing of this proceeding?
Yes, I did, Your Honor.
All right. There are also several other documents within the hearing and the files. Those documents all have your signature. Before you signed each document, or I should say those documents that are in your file that have your signature, before you signed them, did you in fact have the guidance, the counsel of your attorney?
Yes, I did, Your Honor.
Very good. Among them, I want to just review with you briefly is a very critical document. All of the documents, by the way, identify you by name, case number, and court number. Then they have the title and the content. The first one I want to mention to you is a document that's titled Defendant's Waiver of Constitutional Rights and Court's Admonitions. I've mentioned to you the constitutional rights and protections that you have. This particular document tells it to you in writing and has you sign it and acknowledge. I'm sorry. Has you acknowledge that you have been informed of your constitutional rights and protections. In that same document, it tells you, among other things, because it's a multi-page document. It tells you that any deal that you've made with the state is not binding on me as the judge. I'm required by law to say yes or no to your plea bargain. I have to do that. I also am required to set a punishment. I can give you any punishment that is properly within the range of punishment for the offense to which you are pleading, even if my punishment or your punishment that I impose is greater than what you agreed to. If I reject your plea bargain, or if I give you a punishment that's greater than what you agreed to, in either of the two cases, the law would allow you to start all over again, and nothing that you said or signed would be used against you. Is that clear?
Yes, Your Honor.
In addition, there's a document that identifies you, and then it is titled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal. In that document, I inform you that because you've made your own deal, this is your deal, your agreement, you cannot appeal. In other words, you're giving up the right of appeal that I explained to you earlier. Did you review that, understand it, and sign it?
Yes, Your Honor.
You also applied for probation. In your situation, you were blessed to have an attorney that got you an agreement that knocks this charge down from extreme intoxication below even DWI first down to obstruction of a highway due to intoxication. It's a significant improvement in what your circumstance was. And in addition, if you live up to 100% of the conditions of supervision, you will not even be convicted of obstruction, the charge to which you're going to plead. It is a very beneficial form of probation. I hope you learn from that. But if you fail or refuse to live up to 100% of the conditions, then the state may ask me to give you official notice, bring you in for a hearing. And at that point, if in fact the evidence is sufficient in my mind to comply with the law, I will convict you. That conviction follows you the rest of your life. The only exception being if you're real pals with the governor and he gives you a pardon. What are the chances, huh?
I'm
Anyway.
not good friends with him, Your Honor.
I hear you. All right. So if you violate the conditions and I convict you, then you're looking at a full range of punishment, a fine $0 to $2,000, and jail 0 days to 180 days. Is that understood?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Then state you have a motion to proceed as under obstruction of a highway.
Yes, Your Honor, the state would move to amend the information, adding count 2 of obstruction, and then would further move to proceed solely on count 2.
Very good. Defense, no objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
And you waive the 10-day notice of amendment.
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Little,
Yes, Your Honor.
to the charge of obstruction of a highway due to intoxication, how do you plead, sir?
Guilty, Your Honor.
Did anyone threaten you? By the way, a guilty plea is sufficient for me to go ahead and convict you here and now. Do you understand that?
No, I sorry, could you repeat that, Your Honor?
Yes, I am going to grant you deferred adjudication, but I need you to know and understand that a guilty plea right now, on that basis, I could convict you here and now. Is that clear?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. I find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty, but I do not find you guilty because you have an agreement for deferred adjudication, which I will honor. You are granted 16 months deferred adjudication. Before I assess the actual punishment, I want to know what your income is. Do you have, before that, do you have any children you support?
I do not have any children, Your Honor.
Do you have any other dependents that you support besides children?
No, I do not, Your Honor.
All right. So what do you do for a living and what are your earnings?
I'm a project manager for a general contractor. And my annual income is around 100,000, meaning about 8,333 a month, Your Honor, before tax.
All right. Are there any substantial burdens, financial burdens that you're facing right now other than the regular lights, water, food, car, whatever?
Nothing other than still paying off my student loans, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. And are you up to date on those?
I am up to date, Your Honor.
Very good. All right. The state has recommended a $600 fine, 16-month deferred adjudication. I accept the 16-month deferred adjudication. You will perform the DWI education program. You will do the victim impact panel live. You'll submit to it. Hello.
I apologize. I need to address that issue of it being live. I understand that the state checked that, but they're aware that he lives in California. And so it would need to be done over the internet. And I apologize. I know you're going through the list, but I wanted to bring that up.
That was an oversight on my part. Victim impact panel, not live, would be fine.
Very good. Then I'll make the correction on the record then. You will do the victim impact panel. You'll submit to a TAP evaluation. During the entirety of the deferred adjudication, you're not to drink any alcohol or consume any illegal drugs at any time. Let's see, you will have ignition interlock installed in your vehicle for 8 months. You will make a $60, pardon me, you will do 60 hours of community service restitution. You will not make an application for early termination, nor will you submit an application for expunction or non-disclosure. Is that part of the agreement, Ms. Sawyers?
That is part of the agreement, yes. And I would also like to request permission to buy out community service hours.
All right. The community service hours, I authorize payment or donation of community service hours at $15 an hour. I want that made to the San Antonio Food Bank. If you
Yes, sir,
choose
Your
to
Honor.
do that. Now, I will tell you that the $600 fine is not acceptable to me. Your attorney has gotten you one hell of a deal. And that's because she's very capable. But I have people that come in here with 1/4 of your income who get charged, who get hit with a $500, $600 fine. That is not acceptable to me. Instead, I'm going to make that $1,200. And I know your attorneys won't like it, but the fact is, with the kind of income you have and no great burdens, I think I need to make that $1,200. Now, understand under law, I am punishing you, giving you a punishment that's greater than what you agreed to. But if you'll forgive the expression, you're making out like a bandit already. I'm not going to approve that $600 fine. It's got to be $1,200. Now you have the right to say, no, you don't accept it and go on your way and start all over again. That's the law. But that's your choice. I need you to make that choice now.
Your Honor, if I may, for a second, Matthew, would you like to confer with me before making that election, or do you feel comfortable going forward?
I feel comfortable going forward, to be honest. I do agree with his assessment. It is still a acceptable and honestly good deal on my end, so I accept it.
And then, Your Honor, as you've heard, he's accepted the alteration to the $1,200 fine. I also need to request that he be given permission to reside in California.
Absolutely, of course. You are granted permission to reside in California, except for the equipment. You'll be reporting probably. Ms. Luna, you want him to report by virtually by computer?
Yes, through Bear. I mean, to Zoom, through
Yeah.
Zoom to Bear County.
I got you.
And
I'm sorry, Ms. Sawyers, I interrupted you. What else you got?
I apologize. I just wanted to make sure, do y'all need to know the county in California?
Whichever
yes.
county he lives in, I'm authorizing him to reside in California. Of course, he lives there, so that's fine. Anything else, ma'am?
I do not believe we have any other requests at this time, Your Honor. If there's issues, we'll come back and address those, but I do not anticipate any.
Mr. Little, I would be remiss if I didn't tell you this. You're young. You're obviously quite successful. The worst thing can happen to you is that you get out and drink and drive and kill somebody. That would put you in prison. I don't know what the law is in California, but here in Texas, you'd be looking at 20 years. And they regularly do that. Protect yourself. Don't put yourself in that situation. Not only that, but with your income and your background, I don't know what it is technically, but I will tell you that people would probably sue the hell out of you and whatever assets you've got. But more importantly, you'd ruin your reputation in your life. So I would think very, very carefully before drinking and driving. The law allows you to drink so long as you're not intoxicated and get behind the wheel. But I suggest to you, you already have now a history. Don't ask for more trouble. Protect yourself. Good luck to you, sir.
Judge, supervisory fee.
The supervisory fee will be $56 a month.
Understood, Your Honor, and thank you for your words.
You're welcome. And the one you got to thank is your attorneys. Like I said, they did a hell of a job for you.
Definitely, I'll make sure to thank them as well, Your Honor.
Alrighty. Anything else, Ms. Sawyers?
Well, yes, but not in regards to this case, and it doesn't need to be on the record. If you have a few minutes, I'd like to just speak with you